Okay, guys, so now we're moving on to a different type of question. These are now law of cosines questions, right? And we know that we're going to have to use law of cosines because in this particular problem, we can see that we have side A, but not angle A. We have angle B, but not side B. And we have side C, but not angle C. And so we can't do law of sines because we don't have that complete pair. And so instead, we're going to attack this with the law of cosines. And since I know angle B is 101 degrees, that tells me I'm going to start off finding side B. So as I do this, I'm going to go 29 squared plus 24 squared minus 2, 29, 24, cosine 101. Okay? And in this particular question, I can put that all in my calculator because b squared is on the other side. There's no variables wrapped up into this problem. Right? That's what b squared is. So then b is just the square root of that. And b is 41.02. Now, in knowing that, 41.02, now we have the complete pair, and we can jump to law of sines. Now, if you want to do law of cosines again, you totally can. It's up to you. It's kind of your call. But in the meantime, sine 101. Whoa, this stove. Let me flip this all the way down quick. 41.02 equals sine A over 29. And I'm going to get sine A equals 29 times sine 101 divided by 41.02. And then if I sine inverse that, I get 43.9 degrees. I'm just going to say 44. Okay. Now, what I want you to realize is we've talked a lot about when we do sine inverse, we need to check a second angle, right? And we'd look at what could A2 be, just like we did in question 2. But in this particular problem, that doesn't really matter to us. And the reason it doesn't matter to us is because this angle has, or excuse me, this triangle has an obtuse angle. It is 101. If I find A2 and it's, 136, that doesn't, who cares? I can't have a 136 degree angle in a triangle that already has a 101 degree angle. Okay. And then to finish this off then, sorry, I got a little heated. If I want to know what angle C is, I just do 180 minus 101 minus 44. And 180 minus 101 minus 44 is a total of 35 degrees. Okay. So that's the law of cosines in action. We've got a 35 degree angle. We've got a side that's 41.02, and we've got an angle that's 44. Fabulous. 3b is another law of cosines question, but this is a case of side, 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 right? We don't know any angles. Remember what we talked about when we're dealing with side, side, side. We're going to start with the obtuse, with the one that could possibly be obtuse, right? We want to try and catch that early. So in my side, I'm going to start with 14 squared, and I'm going to start by trying to find angle A. So actually, I think most of you really liked what you saw in delta math, but what you got in trouble with is, and I'll put this formula right here, so I'll just use A. You confused yourself because you were using, oh my gosh, what's the word? Like, you were just using them in the order they gave them to you. Remember, if I want to know about angle A, then side A is sort of that like outcast side that is going to be subtracted. Here's what I mean in terms of this problem. I think this is an 8. Nope, not an 8. You want to know how I know it's not an 8? Because it says 6 right here. So I'm going to do 9 squared plus 6 squared. If you did it with an 8, my guess is you did just fine. Divided by 14, negative 14 squared, or excuse me, minus 14 squared, and then 2, 9, and 6 repeat. Okay, so that means cosine A is a little bit of a big number. So let's see, 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 14 squared. So my numerator is going to be negative 79. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 times 9 times 6. And I'm going to get negative 0.73148. And then I'm going to cosine inverse. And I'm going to get 137 degrees, right? Remember I said if it's got an obtuse angle, cosine catches it better than sine? That's what we want. That's why we used cosine. And that's why we picked the biggest side, right? Now, in this fabulous question, we have a beautiful complete pair. And so now we can do anything. So I'm going to do sine 137 over 14 equals sine b over 9. And that means, let me give me a little scroll, sine b equals 9 times sine 137 divided by 14.4384. Sine inverse that. And we get 26 degrees. And then once I have that, then I can find angle C by doing 180 minus 90 minus 26. So 90 minus 26, 90 minus 20 is 70. 70 minus 6 is 64 degrees. And there is the law of cosines. Notice the law of cosines is sort of just a bridge to getting us into a place where we can do law of sines. So law of sines is pretty helpful. Anyway, that was question 3. We're about to do question 4, but I'm going to pause this so it doesn't get too long.